pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Friday, January 8th, 2021, the Press of Atlantic City and the Star Ledger, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBM News on Wednesday, January 6th, 2021, and thereafter posting same on the Town Hall Bulletin Board with such notices and filing same with the Township Clerk pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. The meeting dates have also been posted on the Township webpage. Roll call.
Councilwoman Urick.
Here.
Councilman Kopp.
Here.
Councilman Lotano.
Here.
Councilman Roderick.
Councilman Roderick notified me he was unable to attend tonight.
I know we would normally move for an excused absence, but this is the 12th absence of Councilman Roderick, and if you put that into perspective, that's 6 months of council meetings, and at some point we have to be accountable, and we have to be here.
Okay. Moving on.
The absence is not excused. Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Present.
Council President Gagan.
Here.
The first item on the agenda, the approval of the minutes of May 11, 2021.
Move minutes.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Urick, second by Councilman Kopp. Councilwoman Urick.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 6, honoring resolutions and presentations for the evening. We have Eagle Scouts with us, Thomas Dunman, Matthew Koppenhaver, and Joseph Ryan. We have the Atlantic Clean Team. We have Neurofibromatosis Awareness, and Wear Orange Day.
Move the presentations and resolutions. Second.
Motion was made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Urick. Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Urick.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes. Okay, Council, if you will. Tonight we have a few Eagle Scouts presentations. First one is Matt Koppenhafer. Matt, if you want to step on up. Obviously, it's quite a task to go from entry level as a Cub Scout through and including Eagle Scout. Many great leaders have come being Eagle Scouts. Step on up. Congratulations. We have a proclamation for you. Maybe you can explain what you did to acquire this merit.
Okay, so I started as a Cub Scout, and I went all the way through. So I started as a Cub Scout, and I went all the way through that, and then I got my Arrow of Light, crossed over to Boy Scouts, and then I just worked my way through Boy Scouts to become an Eagle. And for my project, I built the greenhouse for Safe Barnegat Bay, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. Come on up. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. No. You know. They're very proud of you. Doesn't come easy. Okay. And next we have Joseph Ryan. Again, up on behalf of the mayor and council, congratulations on attaining this achievement. Tell us, Brad, what you did. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so I started in Boy Scouts well, as a Cub Scout. I think I joined when I was around 8 or 9 years old. I went through that, crossed over, got my Arrow of Light. And then in November of 2019, I think it was, I finally did my Eagle Scout project, which was designing and building a bird cabinet, or sorry, a cabinet for bird seed for Ocean County Park.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Pictures. Anything. And last but not least, Thomas Donovan. Congratulations, Tom, on the mayor and council. Proclamation letter, the mayor challenge point, but you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you did for your project?
I basically went through the same thing Matt and Joe did. Started as a Cub Scout, earned my Arrow of Light, made my way through Boy Scouts. My Eagle Scout project was garbage and recycling bins for Cass Island Parks. That was completed, I think, August of 2019, I think.
Okay, very good. Congratulations. All in favor? I know. Next up, I apologize, my mask broke. Paul Kitt. There we go. No, it's this being Child Tumor Foundation Month, Neurofibromatosis Awareness Month, I want to offer a proclamation. If you want to tell us anything about that. I know it's very near and dear to your heart.
Yes, it is because my 11-year-old grandson was born with neurofibromatosis. We had never heard of it, nor could we pronounce it. It's known as NF, and he has NF1. NF causes tumors to grow throughout the body. He has had chemotherapy. They're benign tumors right now, but he has tumors in his hypothalamus, on his optic nerve. 1 in 3,000 births, people are born with neurofibromatosis. And he's undergone a year and a half of infused chemotherapy. The Children's Tumor Foundation, who we work with, has allowed him to take an experimental oral chemotherapy, and his tumors right now are all stable, although they will never go away. So I just want to thank Mayor and Council for allowing me to do this, to raise awareness for the Children's Tumor Foundation and for neurofibromatosis. Thank you.
The next group we're going to honor this evening is the Atlantic Clean Team. Atlantic Clean Team is comprised of a group of high school students. I know there's some students from the MATES program, High School East, and they have adopted Shelter Cove Beach as their beach. And they've been doing such a great job. Councilman Yurick and myself were down there about 2-3 weeks ago when they were doing the cleaning down there. And it was part of our Clean Communities program, which is headed by John Clark. And I want to thank John for bringing the team in. And we're recognizing them this evening, and I believe we have quite a few members. So the members of the Atlantic Clean Team, would you like to come up and we can present you? John, you want to come up for a photo? Come on up for the photo, John. Yeah, let's go right through the front. Now, does this group have a spokesperson? Because I know we have lots. What's your name, honey? Okay. Julia will be the spokesperson. So Julia, on behalf of the mayor and council, we'd like to present to the Atlantic Clean Team this proclamation for your hard work at Shelter Cove Beach. And rumor has it, you might be starting at another one of our parks over at Riverwood, so which is wonderful. Thank you so much. And if you just want to give us a little bit about, or introduce your team members and give a little bit about what you do.
Hi, my name is Julia Wepler. I'm a senior at MATES in Manahawkin. These are my friends Lindsay Hancock. She's also a senior at MATES. This is Gianna. She goes to High School East. Emily Downs goes to MATES. Molly Lotta goes to MATES. Catrian goes to East, and that is my sister Lindsay Wepler. She goes to PAA. This is Kristen Wepler. She goes to MATES. Anna Valenti goes to MATES. And Danny Cavello also goes to MATES. And over the summer, we started Atlantic Clean Team as a nonprofit 501c7 to address the issue of plastic and other debris entering our watershed. And we conducted cleanups at Caddis Island and also obviously coordinated with John to adopt Shelter Cove Park. That's great.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and the final proclamation, I'd like to invite moms in Everytown to come on up. So this is a proclamation declaring June 4th, which is nationally, but we're declaring in Toms River as well, that it's National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and it's wear orange, because I'm joining the team. So this day was started because of gun violence in Chicago, which is predominantly illegal guns that are, there's gang members, and just, it's not about lawful gun ownership. It's about getting the guns out of the hands of criminals. And that's Hydea Pendleton, was 15-year-old honor student, and she was in the park after taking some exams with her friends, and they were targeted by some gang members, and she was killed. So her family and friends decided to raise awareness by making her birthday, which is June 2nd, the first Wear Orange Day. You wear orange like a hunter, that you say, hey, don't shoot me, I'm a person, right? So it's to raise awareness, like we're not the targets. So anyway, I'm sure you guys can speak more eloquently to this.
Actually, you did a fantastic job. I don't have much more to say, except for on behalf of the Monmouth and Ocean County chapters of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, we extend our deepest gratitude to you. You know, amazingly enough, it actually takes a lot of courage to stand up for things like this. So taking this step and doing this to note National Gun Violence Awareness Day in Toms River is really great, and we're grateful to you. I'm not going to say any more about what the day is about, because you did such a great job. Just to note that we do honor Hydea. We honor the over 100 people a day who die due to gun violence, and hundreds more that are injured daily, and we do it to elevate the voices of those who are trying to stop and demand an end to this crisis in this country. So thank you all very, very much. Oh, yes, please.
I hate when she takes everything I'm going to say. I am Charlene Hoveder, and I am Survivor Membership Lead for the state of New Jersey. And I want to say two things. Number one, it's really important to know that we are about gun violence prevention, not gun prevention. We respect the Second Amendment. And the second thing I wanted to say, that it will be a wonderful day when we can send our children to school without fear of an intruder. We can go to concerts, we can go to parties, we can go to bars, or in the case of my sister, get out of your car to attend church without fear of being shot. So thank you so much for this proclamation and for your awareness of gun violence.
Start. Thank you.
Continuing on, item number 7 is a resolution of the Township of Toms River authorizing the circulation of a preliminary official statement and final official statement in connection with the sale and the township's bond anticipation notes in an aggregate amount not exceeding $26,062,000 and approving a continuing disclosure certification with respect to said notes of the township and authorizing and/or ratifying other actions in connection therewith. There is no impact on the township net debt percentage with this.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Kopp. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Does Council President mind if our CFO, Alex Davis?
Sure, if you want him to come up and explain that to the
Perfect.
public.
Thank you.
Started moving along a little quickly. That's fine.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. We all read our notes before the meeting, so I know we're well-versed, but the public may not be.
Thank you, Council. Of the
Mr. Davis.
$26 million of notes that we're taking out this year, $12 million is simply a rollover of previous notes. The original issue of those notes occurred in 2016, primarily to acquire open space, Huppert, Gutman, and later the Red Carpet Inn. We are not bonding those notes yet because we are waiting for a further debt service fall-off in our open space fund, so there's no impact to the local taxpayer. The remaining $14 million of the $26 million total note issue is going to provide the liquidity necessary for capital projects that are either currently ongoing or just about to commence. That includes our 2020 road paving project, beach replenishment, the skate park, road elevations. The reason why we do it this way is so that we don't incur unnecessary interest cost, which is, of course, is then borne by the current fund budget. And so we don't issue the notes until that cash is actually needed, or we float the cash shortly ourselves and then issue the cash, so we reduce as much as possible the interest costs associated. That being said, with interest rates still very advantageous, we're anticipating a sub 2% interest rate and hopefully a sub 1% net interest rate as a result of this note issue.
Council President, I just have a question for Mr. Davidson. This is something that we usually do at least once a year, once every couple of years to, like standard operating procedure with our budgets and with our funding our capital and things of that nature?
Correct. We will have either a note issue or a bond issue pretty much annually so that we can fulfill our capital obligations to the township.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Mr.
Council.
Davidson.
Oh, so I just wanted the public to understand that I vote yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Item 8, a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, naming the township-owned building located at 54 Washington Street in honor of the former Toms River Regional School Superintendent Albert J. Dietrich.
Move the resolution.
Second.
A motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
Next, we have our consent agenda. All items listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately.
Does any member of the council have any item they would like discussed separately, voted on separately? Does any member of the public have any item they would like to see discussed separately? Okay. Seeing none, take a motion for the
Move
consent.
the consent agenda in its entirety.
Second.
Motion to move the entire consent agenda made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Lotano. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
Yes.
There are no reports tonight, so we will move on to the bill list.
Move the bill list?
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, second by Council Vice President Maruka. Councilman Turnbach.
Abstain from PO 21-02672, payable to the magistrates. PO 21-02462, payable to law office of Dasty McGuckin. And PO 21-00653, payable to law office of Siddle, Holz, Apple, and Zabarski. I'm a local attorney in town. I have conflicts with those three. Yes to the balance of the bill list.
Council Vice President Maruka.
Abstain to PO 21-02462, payable to Dasty McGuckin, attorneys at law, and 21-02344, payable to Waters Edge Condo Association, and 21-02307, payable to NJMVC, and 21-02672, Tom's River payroll item, payable to NJMVC lease program. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Abstain from the following: 21-02018, 21-02285, 21-02286, 21-02287, 21-02289, payable to Owen and Little Associates, 21-02745, payable to Silverton First Aid, and 21-02008, payable to the Borough of South Towns River. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Lotano.
Yes.
Council President Gagan.
I have one abstention, that is to Silverton First Aid, purchase order 21-02745. Yes to the remaining.
Next, we have elected officials' comments.
Mayor Hill.
Thank you, Council President. I want to compliment our three high schools and the principals and the staff. They've been very innovative this year. After a year of COVID and no proms, they did very innovative things for the proms for these students. And I'd like to start out with Toms River South High School, which held their senior prom on Washington Street last Thursday. And on the lawn of Town Hall. We watched them as they were setting up. They had tables out front. They had a Ferris wheel over by the girls' softball complex. And I have to salute Mr. Michael Sitta, the principal of Toms River South High School, and his staff. Also the county and the Toms River Police Department for shutting down Washington Street from Hooper down to Maine. The party went on till 11 o'clock, and if you saw pictures, there were a number of pictures in the Asbury Park Press. The kids had a great time, and I have to salute them for the ingenuity and really providing a unique experience. The next night, Toms River North held their prom at the Arm & Hammer Trenton Thunder Stadium, and I'd like to thank Principal Ed Keller and his staff for, again, giving the kids a really outstanding and unique experience that I think they're going to remember. And also, finally, Toms River East High School will be holding their senior prom June 17th at Argo Farms down in Lacey Township. Again, another unique venue for a prom. And again, kudos to Mr. Pat Thomas, principal at Toms River East High School, and his staff for the efforts in providing all of these students at the three high schools truly unique experience after they've gone through some very difficult times for the last year and a half. Finally, this Monday is Memorial Day. It's a day when we remember all those who lost their lives in the defense of our freedoms. I encourage everyone to take time to remember the people who paid the ultimate sacrifice. It's not just another sales day or a day at the beach. Flags will be flown at half staff until noon, when they'll be raised up to full staff, and then there's a national moment of silence to be remembered at 3 p.m. In addition, we'll have some ceremonies here in town. The Elks will have a ceremony on Saturday at 12:30, May 29th. The rain date will be Sunday. Pleasant Plains Fire Department on Monday is going to have a service at 8 a.m. And at Town Hall on the porch out front, the American Legion will be having a ceremony at 11:30. So please take time out from your day to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in defending our precious freedoms. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Hewitt?
I'd just like to make sure everybody's aware that we're going to have another Toms River Pride Day this year on June 13th from 11 to 5. And thank goodness, as we are coming upon our recovery from this pandemic to the point where we can actually start to interact with one another again, this will be outside on Washington Street. And it's going to be a festival, whole day, food, entertainment, games. So come on by. And then I'd just like to wish everyone a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day, and to honor those who did make the ultimate sacrifice for our country, and keep that in mind, that that's why we're getting together and celebrating, and that we're honoring their lives, and that we're finally able to get back to those celebrations this year as well. So that's it.
Very good. Councilman Latano.
Thank you, Council President. The senior prom down in the street the other day, they had a full-size Ferris wheel, and it seemed like the kids had an absolute great time. It was great to see. The governor this week has opened up some of the mask mandates, which I think is fantastic. Today, though, he mentioned on an interview that the 21-22 school season would probably have the kids in masks. I think kids between the age of 5 and 17 make up fewer than 10% of the COVID cases, most with mild to no symptoms. All of our teachers and faculty have had the opportunity to be vaccinated. I know that our legislative district, the 10th legislative district of Senator Hosappel, Assemblyman McGuckin, and Assemblyman Catalano are going to introduce a bill next week getting rid of they're going to hope to get rid of the mask mandate for kids in schools. As a parent of kids in the school, I'd like the option of whether or not my kids wear a mask or not. That's just me. Also, Downtown Night Out is every Friday and Saturday night right here in downtown Toms River. It's been a great success. I love it now that people have other options. There's other things to go to, and yet people are still choosing to come to downtown Toms River to enjoy the restaurants and the festivities, and I hope you all come and check it out. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Turnbuck.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to ask our Township Council to consider drafting a resolution to the New Jersey Attorney General's office. On April 19th of 2021, our Attorney General issued Law Enforcement Directive number 2021-4, and it was designed to remove parole stipulations from nonviolent drug offenders. And essentially it was designed to try and bring some equality to sentences for people that were involved in the distribution of drugs across the state of New Jersey. In formulating this directive, one of the crimes that was included in removing a period of parole stipulation or a period of time that someone had to serve in prison falls under what's called NJSA 2C35-6. And what that is employing a juvenile in a drug distribution scheme. And, a lot of you know I'm a criminal defense attorney, and I understand that I'm familiar with all of these laws because I have to be, that's my job, but I really think a lot of our state's not familiar with this, and we talk about protecting our children, and this is something respectfully to the Attorney General's office that does not protect our children. When I graduated college, I took a year off to try and figure out what I wanted to do, and I was lucky enough to be hired by Bob Coughlin over at the Juvenile Detention Center on Sunset in Toms River. And I worked with a lot of young men and women that came up rough. A lot of them didn't have parents and found themselves in juvenile jail. And that year really inspired me to go to law school because I wanted to help those young men and women. Law school was 3 years, so I left, I went to Seton Hall, and when I graduated Seton Hall, I came and had a clerkship here for Judge Sitta in the criminal courts in Ocean County. And in criminal courts in Ocean County, Friday's your sentencing day, and on the first Friday that I walked out of Judge Sitta's chambers and I walked into the courtroom, in the jury box are the inmates that are lined up to be sentenced by the judge. And half of those inmates were the kids that I had left in the juvenile detention center 3 or 4 years ago. And my point is that if we're going to really look at this, kids that get involved in the system, unfortunately, graduate into the adult system. There's no doubt about it. And the idea that our Attorney General is directing the prosecutor's office across the state of New Jersey to remove the period of parole stipulation, in other words, to remove the period of time that adult drug dealers have to serve if they get kids to sell their drugs, is nothing short of asinine. You want to prevent people from being in the system? Prevent kids from getting in the system, because once they're in the system, they're going to be in the system, and unfortunately, they're going to graduate up. And the idea that drug dealers are going to be told, look, you face 10 years in prison if you sell these drugs, but if you give them to kids under 18, they're either going to get probation or they're going to get 3 years maximum. We're exposing our children with this, and I know we're trying to bring equality to inmates across the state of New Jersey, but this one is wrong. And when you're a prosecutor in Ocean County or anywhere, you can't be political. So they rely on us as representatives to send a message to our Attorney General and to our legislature that this has got to be fixed. There's other things within this bill that make a lot, or this directive that make a lot of sense. This one doesn't. And I'd respectfully ask that our township be the first township in the state of New Jersey to call upon the Attorney General to remove NJSA 2C35-6 from this directive, because it's exposing our children to drug dealers. So I'd respectfully ask if we can do a motion tonight, great. If we need one for the next council meeting, it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Turnbull. Councilwoman Maruka.
Thank you, Council President. Last week was EMS week, and it recognized all the volunteers in our EMS services, and I just wanted to say we have 2 of those EMS volunteers on our council, and that's Council President Gagan and Councilman Kopp. I want to thank them for their service and also to all the volunteers. I want to thank Mr. Davidson for putting together the resolution for the bond anticipation notes, and for him, I guess it's just the way he looks at it from a financial perspective, the way he explained it to the Finance Committee of the timing of this. So we're not going to borrow that money until we need it. So we're not paying interest on it. That's smart financial management. And as a CFO, Toms River Township is lucky to have Mr. Davidson here with us. Also want to talk a little bit about some of the projects that are in that bond ordinance, and one of them is our beach replenishment project. I'm just going to ask Mr. Chinkalian to come on up, and if he could just give us a brief update of where we are, both in the North Beach and also in Ortley Beach with that project.
Yes, thank you. Last week, we actually completed the sand import in Ortley Beach between the lifeguard houses. That's where we had that large cliff. That's been graded out. Unfortunately, right now, the beach is pretty narrow in that area, but there's a very large sandbar. We're hoping that's going to start to build as the winds shift. Right now, we have a bulldozer up in North Beach that's cleaning up some of the sand that built along the fence that kind of blocks some of our walkovers. We have crews working right now in Ortley, putting back the walkover fences, the mats, and the dune fences. So all walkovers are still on schedule to be open for Memorial Day weekend. We may have some sections of fence here and there, but you'll be able to get onto the beach.
Okay, that's great news. Thank you. I know we had a couple of the residents that did call and stuff about the sand, color of sand, quality of sand, and this is the same manufacturing. It was actually coming from the same quarry and the same contractor that we have used in previous beach replenishment projects where we had to truck in the sand. Over time, between water hitting the sand itself, that'll be washing it out, and then also in the sunlight, that'll be bleaching the sand as well, so it will come back to a more lighter color than than what it's on there right now. But all in all, the dunes did what they were supposed to do, and that's protect the residents of Ortley Beach. Beach badge sales are on this weekend, and that is up at the lifeguard headquarters over in Ortley Beach. This is the last weekend to purchase the badges at a discounted price of $45. Come Tuesday, June 1st, they go up to the seasonal rate of $60. Our lifeguards will be on this weekend, and it has been pretty hectic over there. I know some of our neighboring communities, specifically Seaside Heights and Seaside Park, they've been doing 4 or 5 rescues a day through their fire companies and their water rescue units. So people need to pay attention, rip currents, things like that, and always swim in front of a lifeguard. And also another thing is our next council meeting is going to be on June 9th, which is a Wednesday evening. It would be in 2 weeks from this evening, but I hear we have a primary that day, and our staff will be extremely busy. With the clerk's office, they'll be moving it to Wednesday evening, June 9th, and that'll be at 6 p.m. And the mayor talked about all the different events we're having for Memorial Day, and I encourage each and every one of you to attend at least one of them. As a resident of this town, as a citizen of America, and just respect for the people that gave their lives for our freedom, we could at least attend a ceremony and say thank you to them. And to everyone, please have a happy, healthy, and safe Memorial Day weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hurek, you had one other thing?
I just wanted to mention the Vax and Visit program that the governor is starting Thursday. So that is where you can go on to the state website. I'm sure if you just Google it, Vax and Visit, you'll be able to get the link. And it will allow you to get free park pass for the state parks. That includes Island Beach State Park, not to take away from Ortley. Please still visit Ortley. But you can visit the 50 other state parks for free if you're vaccinated. And vaccination is one of the tools that we've used to get to the point where we can comfortably sit without our masks and be outside together and be safe. And so it's really a great program to incentivize people to get vaccinated if they haven't already been. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that.
Thank you. Councilman Cobb.
Thanks, Council President. With this upcoming weekend, we have our mask mandate being lifted. Just want to urge everyone to get out there, support your local businesses, especially the restaurant industry, which has faced such hardship and has been true champions throughout this pandemic. It's nice to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And with that being said, I hope everyone has a happy and safe upcoming Memorial Day as we remember those who have died in the line of duty. Mayor Hill talked about a special event. This is an event that you don't have to get in your car or drive to. It's the National Moment of Remembrance. It's an annual event that asks Americans, wherever they are at 3 p.m. local time on Memorial Day, to take a pause from what you're doing and to remember the heroes that have lost their life in the line of duty serving this country. It's at 3 p.m. local time, and it's only 1 minute. And I ask the residents of Toms River, and also my fellow Americans, to take that time during this Memorial Day and remember our heroes. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. The only thing I have is thank you, Councilwoman Maruka, for remembering EMS Week. I was going to mention that EMS usually is Emergency Medical Services. It tends to be the stepchild of emergency services. I myself have been involved in EMS. The end of next month will be 40 years with Silverton, so that's why I have to recuse myself from those bills, despite what others might say. I just want to say all the EMTs and paramedics out there, they've done an amazing job, especially over the past year. I've had too many calls to go into graphic details here. On the brighter side, I think I'm up to about 18 field deliveries, one of them with Josh. Proud to say, well, those are the happy times. But that being said, other than just coming here at night to meetings every other Tuesday night, we do get out in the town to meet with residents and all. And I want to thank Mr. Gincalian, Mr. Amoruso, Chief Little. Recently, I've met with a group from Green Island about some issues that they had, and although I'm waiting for a email list from them so we can address it with code enforcement. Recently, we've had a couple meetings with a group of Silverton residents. Their complaints have kind of fell on deaf ears with someone else, and, we met with them, the business administrator, the chief. They were able to zoom in. It's about a piece of property, and we were able to present them with facts rather than Facebook innuendos and just the rumor mill. We can't control what goes on the internet. If it's on Facebook, the old saying, it must be true. It's on Facebook. It's not. These residents that are concerned about an area that their property directly affects, they're very pleased that they got the correct information, facts, and we've kept them in the loop. In addition to that, the timing with the county and MUA doing the drainage and sewage on Silver Bay Road doesn't add, kind of adds fuel to the fire. Timing couldn't be any worse. I'd ask maybe the township can either get a letter from the MUA and put it up maybe on our Facebook page or as well as our website addressing this, that, this has been scheduled since post-Sandy. So even the town and governing bodies, I know you hear Sandy, Hurricane Sandy, and for most people, when your power came back, Sandy was over. For those of us that live in those areas, we're still living it. People still are not in their houses. And this is one of those projects that's, as a result of Superstorm Sandy and them relining the pipes and digging up the roadway and whatnot. But that being said, I wish everybody has a good Memorial Day weekend, safe. Please come out and support your local businesses as the mask mandate gets lifted, and try and attend one of the events in town. Show your support for those that have supported us in the past. With that, I'll open it up to public comment. Yes, Ms. Winan. Well, if you would just approach the mic, you have to state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Cindy Wyant. I live at 546 Deer Lane, and I'm here on behalf of our neighborhood to express our concerns at the proposed transformation of Deer Hollow Park into a dog park. It's my understanding that the ordinance for the park has been before the mayor and town council on 2 occasions, and it has been approved. However, I tried contacting the mayor and council on several occasions to get together with us and have a meeting and discuss our concerns. No one would come out and meet with us, so we're here to meet with you. I believe, as this park is part of the Green Acres program, notification is to be given if there is a change in purpose or use of funded and unfunded parkland as outlined in 7:36-26.2. If that notification was given, we were not advised. Here are our concerns. How will you medevac out of Deer Hollow Park? Our personal right to live in a peaceful environment is being encroached upon. This will devalue our homes. Our personal welfare and protection is in jeopardy. There's insufficient parking. There's going to be an increase in noise due to more barking animals. Increase in traffic flow with limited egress in case of emergency. Additional trash that will be generated in our neighborhood. The Johnny on the Spot at the end of my street is a disgrace. It's a terrible eyesore. Will there be an attendant from open until close? Will there be a check for registrations, license, and vaccinations? What are the hours of operation? Will there be someone there constantly monitoring for unleashed dogs, breaking up dog fights, and the dog owner fights? Will there be an official poop scooper? Who should we call for excessive barking or a dangerous situation that may occur? Would you like to sit outside of your home and listen to dogs barking all day or all evening? If your response is yes, then please give us your address and we will find a parcel of land in your neighborhood to be utilized for this park. Many neighborhood residents utilize this park for our children and grandchildren to play baseball, football, and soccer. It's used for people to practice disc golf, to run remote control cars, and numerous other activities. Although we understand people feel the need to take their dogs to a dog park to socialize, we do feel there is more suitable land in Toms River Township to put your plan into effect rather than right in the middle of our neighborhood. We can all agree this park is in total disarray and has been neglected for years. I myself have contacted the township on numerous occasions to clean it up and add playground equipment so our children have something to do. Yes, beautify our park, but not by making it a dog park. It is my understanding this proposal came about because of crowdsourcing. Since when does crowdsourcing make up the majority of the people and a determination of what goes where? There are currently 2 off-leash dog parks available for the general public, Robert Miller Air Park and Ocean County Park. Dog owners should feel free to do what is necessary to attend these parks where attendants are available and rules and regulations are in place and enforced. It is not only for their dog's protection, but for theirs as well. And I have a petition signed by some of the neighbors, if you would like me to give that to Allison.
Sure, if you would, please, and thank you very much. Mr. Amaruso, did you want to comment on that? I know we've had some discussions about things.
Good evening, Cindy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Go ahead. Yeah, I've had recent discussions with her, both over the phone and through email, and I sent in her information to Allison Carlisle, the clerk, last week. And I think with that petition, be a good idea to sit down with the neighbors to discuss their options. At this point, what we have approved is the budgeting for the design. Design is not quite 100% finished yet. So the next phase would be construction. So again, I think council has a desire to sit and meet with these residents to get a sense of where we are is probably a great idea.
Not only that, if I may, I believe what the people are looking for is an unleashed dog park. And that is totally unacceptable. Right now, they do that. I get out of my car, I'm greeted by animals coming up and barking at me and being territorial in my property. And it's just totally unacceptable. They've already defaced the signs that says the dogs must be leashed and controlled, and now it's gone completely.
Okay.
Council President,
Yes,
can we just have
Councilman.
Mr. Chakilian explain some of the mitigating factors that would be introduced into a well-designed park?
We could do that, but, I think we're certainly going to sit down and
Just
have a meeting,
to ease
also
some
with
of
you.
the
'cause-
concerns
Yeah,
here.
Mr. Chinkalian, if you would, please.
And it wasn't
I know this started
crowdsourcing there. Yeah, there was
a long
there was a
time
lot
ago.
more into it.
Oh, Mr. Chinkalian, if you could, maybe answer any questions they have.
Yes, the preliminary design that we have, the dogs will be in an internal pen. There'll be a sally port or double gate system, similar to the one in Brick. I actually live near one myself, where you bring your dog into a gated area, close the gate, take the leash off. Then there's another gate where they go into the run area. There's separate areas for large and small dogs. In the design so far, we've tried to be respectful to the neighbors. I know that the closest pen to a property line is over 70 feet. I think an average is close to 90 feet away. We were looking to supplement plantings while improving a walking trail and basketball courts. But again, we're more than happy to, as Lou said, or Administrator said, to meet with the residents and show them this and see where it pans out.
Right.
Your plan sounds amazing, well, except for the dog part. It's just, it's unacceptable to the surrounding homes. It's horrible there now. We have children being chased by dogs to get their balls away from them. The people have no control over the dogs. I don't know if you've researched the dangers of dog parks. I have, and it might be a good idea.
I know the one in Brick has a similar system, and it works there, but again, we can
I've been
discuss
in
this.
contact with them. They just started that one, and I've heard some of their concerns
Yeah.
already. So.
Well, we'll schedule a meeting. I know certainly we've talked about, myself and Mr. Amaruso offline about moving the dog park possibly to, Silverton Park. It's further away from homes. I think that park also needs some rehab, but leave the other stuff that Mr. Chinkalian's talking about, the walking trails and recoding the basketball court. And, obviously we want to make the most amount of residents happy and the best bang for our buck. Obviously we don't want to put, residents want something, but it's affecting somebody else's quality of life. So,
Playground equipment in there for the children. The neighborhood has a ton of
And-
children.
and-
I know it wouldn't just be for the neighborhood, but it would be a place, we have so many children in our area, not enough parks in that area.
And I can speak for the Portage on, I had a resident reached out to me that has a medical problem that's, whose daughter is there that plays one of the teams. And he always has to take her and go visit a restroom, periodically. So that's not a long-term fix. I think it's just temporary while the season, is there. I think it's either, girls soccer that's there? Okay. So I apologize for the unsightliness of that. Again, we're trying to make, accommodate one resident and,
And I understand that,
so-
and that's fine,
Yeah.
as long as it's not a permanent thing.
No.
I know Sure Shots has been told that they can no longer use that park after this season. I've been in touch with them as well.
Mhm. That's the girls' soccer team?
Soccer shots you're talking about?
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I don't know. Not aware of that.
Yeah, because of the dog park, they'll no longer be able to use the park.
Mhm. All right. Well,
We'd rather hear the
I
children
see
bark
the,
than the dogs
they'll
bark.
probably be back, I'm sure. So we'll set up a meeting. I know Mr. Amaruso has your contact info. You have his correct email now. I know that was an issue.
Certainly do now,
All right.
yes.
You work for the town. You should know the email, right? All right. Well, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah, you in the blue. Oh, I thought you were with them. Go ahead, sir. Step up. Oh, okay. If you would, state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. My name is Mike Sturgeon, 1439 Windsor Avenue in Toms River. And I'm here regarding this park. And we've been living there for 36 years. And this park used to be a very nice park years ago, 3 children there. They had a playground. It was nice, swings, all that right in the sand area. And right now, there's a sand pit with just weeds, standing water after it rains, mosquito infested, and you get attacked if you're walking through this park. We do have a dog. We love walking her leashed. We've been attacked by pit bulls and cocker spaniels. And we got attacked by owners of these dogs. Okay, there's 95,000 residents in Toms River. In this little area where there's 2 dead-end streets with maybe 10 houses, how are you going to accommodate all these people with 14 parking spots right in the middle of a neighborhood that everybody's backyard is just all around it? You know, you can, put a buffer zone and all that. You're going to tell the dogs not to bark? Are you going to sit outside in your backyard and hear barking the whole time? An owner of a dog might just come on in for an hour, they're gone. We've got to stay with that for a very long time.
I understand.
Right? Yeah, the park needs, to be renovated. It really, really needs to. It's been years. It's been 20 years since nothing's been done. Today, we're walking our dog through there. There's the garbage. Hasn't been picked up in 2 weeks. There's bags of dog poop all over the place. Okay, it stinks. The neighbors 2 doors down from us, we've got to walk through the little gate. It stinks. You know, you haven't been taking care of this park. And in order to facilitate the people that are breaking the law and the rules, you're making it a dog park. That's not right. That's like somebody speeding down your street, and instead of, giving them a ticket, you raise the speed limit. It's just not right. Fix the park. Let us live our quiet life. Kids, they drive their bikes. I see families drive their bikes right up to the gate, and then they see these loose dogs. They turn around and go home. Just not fair. Okay? I haven't seen a park security ranger there in years. Haven't seen him. There used to be a guy, Jack, years ago. He used to go to Riverwood and, the other parks and all that, because I used to coach. And, we see Jack. We knew it was time to go. It was dusk. Okay? I haven't seen anybody there. Nobody there. Enforce the code. Enforce the code. That's all it takes. And these people would tie up their dogs, don't show up. Most of them drive there. They're not neighborhood people. Most of them drive there. I would say about 80% of them. They drive there. As soon as they get out, let their dogs loose. I was in the park with my dog just walking through like we always do. Girl comes up, pit bull in hand, looks at me and takes the pit bull right off the leash. When I tried to say, hey, put the dog back on the leash. She said, this is a dog park, and pretty much it was my wife and I, they chased us off the park. We're afraid to even go there. It's a great, great area. It's quiet. You walk out, all you hear is the birds, quiet, no traffic. We live on a dead-end street right at the beginning of it. I mean, it's great. It's a great area. Our kids grew up there, 3 of them. They enjoy the park. The neighborhood kids enjoy the park. You know, I feel sorry for the kids now. My kids are grown and gone.
Okay.
My name is Kathleen Sturgeon. I live at 1439 Windsor Avenue. Like he said, we have lived in Deer Hollow neighborhood, 3 houses down from the park for 36 years. I strongly oppose the Deer Hollow Park to be turned into a dog park for the following reasons. I am opposed to the location and the proximity to residential homes. In other words, people do not want a dog park in their backyard. The barking of the dogs and noise we certainly will be hearing from increased traffic will be intrusive to our quality of life. Next, the issue of parking. A busy dog park will put an undue burden on the neighbors. Deer Lane is a very small dead-end street on both sides of the park. Was there, by the township, any study as to the anticipated use of parking spaces? Was there a study done? Parking will undoubtedly begin to spill over onto Deer Lane and other surrounding streets. Also, today, like my husband said, we were walking our dog on the leash like we do frequently. I noticed the garbage can at the park has not been emptied in 2 weeks. And it's so close to a neighbor's house. I have a picture of the can overflowing with bags of dog waste people throw away after picking up after their dogs. If the Public Works can't even do their job now, what will happen if it's a dog park and all that dog waste needs to be taken away on a daily basis? This is a public health matter. Lastly, will someone be hired to work at the park entrance to check dog park registrations, dog licenses, keeping count of how many dogs are using the off-leash areas? The Ocean County Park allows a maximum of 20 dogs, and if there are other people waiting, they limit the use to 30 minutes. Will someone be monitoring this? Thank you for allowing me to voice my concerns, and I hope the township reconsiders turning our park into a dog park. I will not support the township in this decision. Good evening.
Thank you very much for your input and making us aware. Thank you. Yes, sir, in the blue, yes.
Sam Foster, 108 Chico Drive in Brick. I have one very quick question here. I wanted to bring it to your attention. I got an email from my chess club. As you know, I belong to the Thomas River Chess Club. And apparently they had some kind of contact with the township. Right? We all know that the governor is reducing restrictions now. And we were asked to request that the township of Toms River clear out the room that we usually use for chess tournaments. And I don't know if you could tell us any information about the status of clearing out that room for us, because we've, more and more people getting vaccinated, and wanted to know if there's anything. We were told to contact Allison, the township clerk, but since I was going to attend I got the email over the weekend, so I was going to attend this meeting anyway. I figured I'd bring it up to your attention.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility of that happening anytime soon?
I'm sure as the governor releases the restrictions and all, and I'm sure Allison doesn't have her calendar in front of her, because there's all kinds of events that go on in different clubs in the different rooms. So if you maybe give her a call at her extension during the week, she can be able to better answer that question.
Okay, Allison? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I wasn't sure
That's
if
the clerk,
if
yeah,
it'd
she
be
handles all the
appropriate to
scheduling.
contact the council itself, but yeah, like I said, I got the email within a few days of the council meeting anyway, so if I could just check with you, but.
We're all looking forward
yeah.
to getting back to normalcy.
All right, thank you, I appreciate that, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. Yes, ma'am, you in the gray sweater.
I have a little problem walking today. Okay, my name is Geraldine Lucas, and I live at 20 Alero Drive in Holiday City, Silverton. Okay, I've been here before about my neighbors. I don't think who runs that community knows what they're doing. They all belong in a nursing home. Okay, they're over. They don't know what they're doing. Maybe they were old housewives and now they're running. They can't run the clubhouse. Okay, my neighbor next door has a criminal record. She also has a young boy, I've never met him, lives there. I don't know if he's a son or what. He never leaves the house. Okay, and they totally harass me and rob me. And I think because some people enjoy, that's how they get their pleasure. Now I have a cat rather, who's getting harassed. You know, they play noises at night. He never can sleep. I have medical issues that I have to take care of. I don't need this in my life. I don't know how long the good Lord gives me to live. But whatever, I want to do it enjoyably. So I think something should be done. Her name is Marion Rip, and she has a criminal record. How could she be living there? Do you understand? Robbed all my winter clothes, and I spent about $1,000 just to put locks on my door. Disconnected my security system. I mean, I should be able to have to live like this. And the clubhouse expects me to pay their dues? For what? What did they do for me? I'm getting sicker every day, and I lose my sleep every night. And I want this to end. Because the people there, they've had husbands who have passed on. I never had that situation. I lived all over the world, and I took care of myself. And this is the situation. And one lady told me, well, if you don't nail it down, they take it. That should not be. When you pass a certain age in life, you should have the security and comfort that you deserve and that you worked for. That's the way I look at it. And I want something done about these people. Because he just continually comes in there when I'm not there. Oh, she left, let's go over, you know, whatever they do. Do you know what I have on my window right now? Barbed wire. Because when the police came over, how did they get in? Well, if I knew how they get in, I would tell you. I wasn't here. How could the police ask me, how did they get in? Do you understand what I'm saying? If I knew how they got in, I would tell you. It doesn't make sense that. So I put barbed wire up because once they come in again, I'm going to know how they got in. That's the way I look at it. But I do want something done because I have medical issues that I have to take care of. And what I'm saying to you, I'm speaking for other women over there who don't have anybody to defend them. And I'm defending them also. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Take care. Yes, ma'am.
Lorraine, excuse me, Lorraine Harwellick, 605 Vision Avenue. I really want to address everybody, my constituents, the elected officials. I'm appalled at the political push on this vaccine, the COVID. I'm appalled that the governor is using my tax dollars to coerce people into taking an FDA unapproved. Does anybody know that? It is not approved. It's in an experimental stage. And these people aren't being told. And I'm appalled that elected officials and bureaucrats, unlicensed people, are pushing medical procedures. The mask was bad enough. It's a medical device as defined by the FDA. And I have people telling me to put it on and put it on children that aren't licensed. It's unethical, they're breaking laws, but I guess there's no law anymore. It's like might makes right. And the fact that the governor has to try to coerce people and bribe people with my money to take a medical procedure is unconscionable. He's breaking laws. He's definitely breaking the Nuremberg Code because people are not. I told my own physician 2 weeks ago, So what do you want the shop to know? And he, talked a little bit about it. I said, Dr. So-and-so, it's not even FDA approved. I'm not interested in being part of an experiment, a medical experiment. His whole face dropped. He said, it is approved. I said, no, it isn't. It's authorized. It's a play on words. It is not FDA approved. One company, Pfizer, has applied for an approval, but it takes a long time. You're part of a clinical experiment. And I think if you're going to push the vaccine and tell people, oh, you should get it, I got it, I've been told this, and coercing with bribes and also harassment, okay, they also have to be told that it hasn't been FDA approved. It's in a 2-year trial phase. Okay? And nobody who is not licensed medically should be encouraging it and pushing it. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, in the back, you've been patient. Thank you.
Good evening. How's everybody doing today? So I just wanted to follow up to the past couple meetings. We were talking about the marijuana ordinance. And
I'm sorry if your name and address.
I forgot
correct,
my name. I'm
please.
sorry.
That's okay.
Kenneth Gogren, 1204 Fellowship Court in Toms River. I did want to follow up from the past couple meetings. I know you guys tabled the motion 2 weeks ago. You had a lot of questions. I know Councilwoman Hyrick, I emailed you, and Council Vice President Maruka and Councilman Turnbach, I believe, emailed you also. Sorry it was very long. I tried to answer everybody's questions. I did actually, I know you guys had a lot of questions. I used if you go to the Colorado government's website, because the reason I referenced Colorado for that issue is because they've done a lot of real-world studies. On their websites, they have one for the enforcement division, which is the legal side of it, and then they have the health side, which is on their, I can't think of the Department of Health website. A lot of the questions you guys had were on there. I have downloaded a lot of the files. There's a lot. If there's any easy way I can get them to you guys to answer your specific questions, like I know, Council President, you had a lot of questions about where do we put them. I know we're a different state. We're in New Jersey. I did have some suggestions. I did want to get them to you as well. Like I said, I tried to answer everybody's questions. So the easiest way that I can get in touch with all of you, how would I go about doing that? Because I know a few of you guys don't have emails listed.
I think on the webpage, if you go to each of our profiles, there's a link, to our web email rather.
Yeah, there was only 3 you guys listed though that I can email.
First initial, last name, Toms River Township.
Okay, I'll do that. Just so I can get to everybody, because I was like, so like I said, very sorry for the long email. I tried to get everybody's information in. But one other thing I did want to address, 2 weeks ago, Councilman Roderick, I know he's not here today, he made some comments about some of the effects of the marijuana in schools, the studies. He said that after it was legalized that it skyrocketed in schools. I did look up those reports, and I will be happy to send them to all of you. It was actually the opposite. In 2013, there was roughly 40% of high school students in Colorado schools were smoking marijuana. After it was legalized, it dropped down to roughly 22% in 2015, followed by 21% in 2017. And then the most recent study in 2019, it's almost below 20% and dropping. So I did just want to correct that. But again, thank you all for taking the time to learn more about this issue, and I will be very happy to get you guys all the information you need. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Does any other member of the public? Yes, sir. You in the back. Good evening. Just state your name and address, please.
Alan Sunday, 549 Deer Lane, Toms River. I'm not going to tell you how long I've been there because you'll know how old I am. I like Cindy. I don't really oppose a park where you can walk your dog, but I think of having the runners and all that's not necessary. Park does need a renovation. They've renovated the park several times. It gets vandalized by the kids, as you probably are aware of. One question I have, I guess, for the gentleman back there, why is there a porta potty there?
That came to us as a request from a resident, as I explained to the earlier resident, who is there every Saturday with a young child with a soccer game, has some medical condition, and he always had to take her out of the game, leave, go to a facility, and come back. So, again, we're trying to make the most
Well, that
amount
comes
of...
at a cost to the taxpayers as well, I'm sure, but is there any way we could relocate it?
I don't think that's unreasonable.
I
You know,
think
again, we
right
have...
where it is, I was just a guy dropping off, didn't know where to put it, he just dropped it right there.
Mm.
The other question I have is, I'm not sure, you may or may not be aware of, that's a medevac helicopter site that we have used in the past. Is that still going to be the same, or is that going to be discontinued for low cost?
Usually when there's an incident, you know, they kind of flip a coin basically where to land, whether it's at High School East. Sometimes they pick Deer Hollow. I know the bigger helicopters don't like that because it is too small. The ideal circumstance is to land them right at 1 and 37, to be honest with you, but then people get upset when they have to wait in traffic. The idea is to bring the helicopter to the person, not move the person 3 times then to the helicopter.
Everybody's aware.
Yeah.
And lastly, do we have a timeline on when the proposal is going to be drawn up so we could take a look and see exactly what's going to happen?
Mr. Ginchelli may be able to answer that, but it was just, again, conceptual. I don't even think, I mean, there's money in the capital budgets if you want to step up. So there's as far as I'm aware, there's no firm plan to, you know, yes, dog park and revitalize the park, but I don't believe there's any firm drawings yet to even be shown. Yeah.
So it's, and also, I believe it still has to be funded, it was in this year's capital budget
Mhm.
for construction, so I don't know if it's funded yet.
Okay. We know there's at least one no vote.
So what is the process to draw up the plan and who's responsible for approving?
Council President?
Yes.
I would just suggest, why don't we wait to have a meeting with the residents first, before
I think
there's
it-
any proposal or anything put out, and then, you know, and hear what they have to say. We've heard some tonight, taking that consideration. I have our staff, I say Mr. Amoruso, Mr. Gincallion, probably Jared from Recreation, a couple council members, and sit down and let's have a discussion before anything goes forward.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Fine.
very good. Does any, okay, go ahead, ma'am. Just state your name and address again for the record.
Kathleen Sturgeon, 1439 Windsor Avenue. That's a very good idea, to have a meeting with the neighbors. How will that come to be? How will the neighbors be notified to go to the meeting?
What we usually, Council President, you mind if I answer
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Usually when we have a residential meeting, there's always a point person. I believe, Cindy, we can use you as a point person for the neighborhood and to contact them. So we'll usually reach out to them, whoever the point person would be representing the neighborhood, and say, you know, bring a few of the neighbors to the meeting with our staff, and we'll go from there. Instead of everybody emailing back and forth, we just like one person to represent the group, and that has worked extremely well in past where we've had an issue in town or with meetings with residents. You're welcome.
Does any other member of the public wish to be heard? Mr. Anderson.
Just off of a little bit of what he said, like, you guys were talking about.
Name and address,
Daniel
please, for the
Kessel,
record.
Bell Street, Tom's River.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What's that?
Your name and,
Daniel Kessel, 7 Vale Street, Tom's River. I think I've actually sent this link to pretty much every one of you guys in your Facebook messages, articles. Brick has now settled with the lawsuit for $25,000 over the dispensary that they were trying to open. The town would have lost that if they didn't settle, so they settled because they knew. Just showing you that the lawsuits do go through, and they work. And like I sent you the one about Somerset, how they're making their own guidelines in the town. There's things we could do where if you read it, you said you were going to reach out to Somerset and try to get their guidelines. Maybe those won't be exactly what we do, but there are things in there that work and for their town, but maybe we could change a few for our town, you know? So there are, like you said, it's one-way deal. It's not that way. You can make your own town because nobody's getting a permit without the backing of
I
the
never
town.
said it was a one-way deal. I never made that comment.
But, so, I just wanted to let that know, and I wasn't really prepared. I wasn't really going to talk today. I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you very much. Mr. Anderson.
Art Anderson, 12 Park Street. I just have a question about the bills.
It's actually page 1, the second bill down, for a Green Construction Incorporated for $495,000.
Yeah, what was that? Mr. Chingalian explained all the details of that.
Green Construction is the contractor that's doing the 6 Terrace Road elevation project.
Mhm.
That was about 30% funded by a DOT grant, but it's a 6 Terrace. It's actually 6 Terrace, East Harborside, West Harborside, and Marion.
Marion, there's about 3 or 4
It's
streets
in
over in
Ortley
Ortley
Beach,
Beach. It's
on the
a street
bay side.
elevation project. And, they are costly in that, but we all usually offset it with DOT grants that we get.
Would-
And we've been very successful. We've done quite a few of these projects throughout the township. The first one we did was over in Ortley Beach over on Washington. Then we've done Creek Road, we've done Pumpshire, we just did Bay Breeze, Sea Breeze. And I believe we have 3 of them right now. One over in Ortley Beach, and we have one over on Aldo Drive, and I know we have another.
Aldo, Windsor.
That's right,
Bay
Windsor's the
Point.
other one, yeah, Bay Point. So we've got quite a few of them going on. But it's a road elevation project that we meet with the residents, get a consensus of how high the street was going to be raised, be it at 12 inches, 18 inches, or 24, and then go out to bid on that project. But we need the buy-in from the residents first before anything's done, and then we also apply for the DOT grant to help offset.
Well, we do 2 types of projects. We do mill and overlay, which we're working on now. These projects are a little more involved. They involve all new storm sewers. As the Councilwoman Maruka said, we elevate the road, we reconstruct it, yard restoration. So these are more of like a reconstruction project. There's the next we've been successful in getting grants every year.
Yeah.
We have Harbor Canal, Harbor Lane, Harbor Drive, Canal,
We've had
and
coast.
Aldo, Windsor, Bay Point. We recently got one for Normandy.
The Normandy Beach, and we're actually doing a joint venture with
Normandy's now-
Bricktown, because Normandy Beach, part of it is in Toms River Township, and part of it's in Bricktown, and we're doing a joint venture with them for the road elevation project there.
Mr. Chicalli, can you explain why they're necessary?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, some of the areas in town, as we all know, sea level is rising, and some areas in town are periodically underwater. EMS, police, sometimes the school bus can't get there. Some of our roads are literally, Sea Breeze was 4 inches above sea level. So we're trying to bring the roads to a minimum at least 2 feet above sea level. And generally what we found is when you get the moon with the southerly winds that backs up water in the storm sewer system and floods, if you're above 2, generally we stay dry. And as Councilwoman Maruka said, they've been very successful. That's why we keep funding these. It's, things, sea level rises, it's something we have to deal with.
Yeah, and they're mostly mitigation projects for the residents.
All right, thank you. Does any other member of the public wish to be heard? Council, your pleasure.
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to go into executive session?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and/or of a privileged nature. And whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows. The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. General nature of the subject matter to be discussed and/or acted upon is as follows. Matters of personnel, attorney-client privilege, and contract negotiations. The following specific items to be discussed and/or acted upon are as follows. The executive session minutes review of May 11, 2021, personnel issues of the Township Clerk's Office and administration, and potential real property acquisitions. It is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. Motion to go into executive session was made at 7:24 PM. Motion made by Council Vice President Maruka, seconded by Councilman Latano, with all in favor.
things, like, we don't need that now, go into the slum. You
If
should-
someone smashed the wood there, someone got pissed and another owner smashed the front door with a rock or something.
That's terrible.
No time for that yet. Yeah, not until later in the day. I heard you got a good score. That's a good score. That's a far I never get. Steve has been chopping these up. Yeah, that's good. That's really.
Monday at 11:30. On the third year?
Yeah, we're good.
Do I have a motion to go back into public session?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.